What's up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks so much for being here, for being subscribed. If you are, if you're not, hit that button. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, hit that like button while you're at it. It's like walking into the room and hitting that light switch. We just want to go ahead and brighten up the place. So let's get into this conversation. And honestly, topics like this, I try my best to, I wouldn't say avoid or stay away from when it comes to listening, but getting involved or sharing my views and opinions, because ultimately, I don't believe that me sharing my opinions about these things is really going to change anything. Most people feel how they feel, and I'm just not in the business of getting out here and fighting and windmilling on social media, going back and forth with people, because people are going to feel how they want to feel. But listen, I wanted to talk about this situation, and Jesshilarious, the online internet comedian, she shared her views and opinions in response to a transgender woman that made some comments about women. And I'm going to say natural born women. And some people may get offended by that. I don't know why people get offended by that. But if they do, it's not because I'm trying to be offensive. It's just what I know it to be. I know they've got this phrase or term now where it's called they're assigning genders at birth. I personally don't believe that. I don't agree with it, and I'm just sharing how I feel, because when it comes to that, I feel that you are born what you are. There are some people who feel like they weren't in the right body, and I don't understand that, because that's not been my life, and I don't know anyone personally where that has been their life. I'm not saying that I don't sympathize with people who feel that way, because I personally don't believe, this is my personal opinion, I don't believe that most people who are gay or lesbian or whatever, that they like literally choose that life, because it doesn't seem to be one that's very easy to live. And I don't personally believe that people would choose to live a life that they're going to be hated against, discriminated, whatnot, made to feel uncomfortable. I just don't feel like, why would someone choose to live that life if that's not how they genuinely feel? But I feel that being gay and lesbian is, in my personal opinion, a bit different than the transgender thing, because I've personally heard conversations online, albeit not in person, but I've heard conversations and discussions by people who are gay men who will say that they don't even understand a lot of the stuff when it comes to the transgender issues. So it almost is like it's a completely different, altogether experience. So I don't know. I'm just sharing what I've heard other people say. But Jesshilarious and tsmadison, the internet phenom that has garnered a lot of success and fame by being a transgender woman that still has the male part in between her legs. That's what I believe was said by trans activist T.S. Madison. So this story, I'm just going to share from the Jasmine brand, and it says, Jesshilarious and T.S. Madison have heated exchange after comedian reacts to a trans woman saying cis women don't own womanhood and periods. So comedian Jesshilarious, she received mixed reactions to recent comments she made about the trans woman community while reacting to a video of what seems to be a transgender woman discussing cis, quote, naturally born women not having ownership over menstruation and womanhood. The internet personality sparked a huge online debate and prompted a response from trans activist T.S. Madison.
What I mean when the transphobia just comes out, the audacity and just the arrogance for cis women to believe that they own periods, that they own womanhood. You don't. Okay, you don't own periods. You don't own womanhood. You experience both, and both are different for every person. But as a cis woman, it doesn't belong to you, so you can't gatekeep it. Like, hello?
Hello. Who the fuck is gonna stand up for us? Who the fuck stands up for us? And us I mean women, real women, biological women, women who were born with all the parts that you guys wish that you were. When does the delusion stop? What is the difference between you and someone who has been diagnosed to be mentally insane? What's the only difference is you don't have a straitjacket on. Stop talking out your fucking ass. Wake up. How are you projecting your anger on real women? Because we are the gatekeepers. We are the gatekeepers for periods. We the only one that fucking bleed, honey. We the only ones that can give birth. We make y'all people. We make y'all. Y'all come from us. You can't be us. You will never. You're chasing something you'll never, ever get. You'll never be that.
Like, hello?
So you heard that, and the story continues, and it says, it wasn't long before users everywhere began to chime in with their own thoughts on the conversation. Some seemed to strongly agree with Jess, pointing out that there seems to be growing tension between trans and cisgender women due to their desire to discredit the truth about what a woman is, while others felt the Wild and Out star's response was ignorant, stating that Jess didn't take the time to understand fully the trans woman's point and accusing her of only responding for clickbait. But one commenter who agreed with Jess's point wrote, being well raised is about respecting people in every room you walk into. They were there before you walked in. Don't be arrogant. Be respectful. Give women the due respect they deserve for birthing nations, and we women will in turn support your journey. It doesn't have to be a competition. It could never be. So some other comments and tweets. One person says, Jess Hilarious has always been transphobic and anti-gay. She uses our vernacular and vocabulary and swag and hates the very bane of our existence. The part that's annoying with @JessHilariousOfficial is your approach to the subject is filled with your own internalized hate for the trans community as a whole. If you took the time to be this. And then another person says, let us all take a moment and give Jess a round of applause. And this person is actually a male. Says, this needed to be said a long time ago, and real women shouldn't be harassed and bullied for being who they were born to be. Another one says, tell me you don't know actual trans women without telling me. Y'all love to take one video and ride on your transphobia masked as morality. It's tired. And another one says, it doesn't seem to me trans women are the ones who are angry. Your rage and your deliberate cruelty, your ignorance of both gender ideology and social construct is mind-boggling. And another person says, there's a lot of anger, fear, ignorance, and insecurity going on here. Jess, there are trans people who experience menstruation. Trans men, trans masculine folks, non-binary folks, and even people assigned male at birth who are intersex come to mind. Really? Another one says, thank you, Jess. This is getting so MFing weird. Mental health issues and definitely delusional AF. We are the gatekeepers. They mama pushed her out of her cat emoji. I wonder what the mom there thinks about this, because she definitely came from a woman. And another one says, it's funny how trans men never cause this much chaos for men. Trans women still be having that male takeover spirit. And another one says, thank you for having the courage to speak up for biological women. And another one says, this is the same ninja that said, what are cis women going to do when trans women can get uterus transplants? This person is mentally unstable. So tsmadison, she responded, and she said, there are so many, quote, real women that get mistaken for being transgender women. And that's where a lot of the anger comes from. I do hope they take a good look at how transphobia affects all women. And in response, Jess Hilarious, she posted to her Instagram story with a picture of tsmadison. And she posted, you the last one that needs to be effing playing with me. Keep that phony crap over there. And adding, I swear, and words in any form switch up like a MFer. So in response to Jess Hilarious's story, T.S. Madison, she wanted to say something just to, I guess, wrap her thoughts up in a little bow. And she wrote, "Let me make one thing clear. I have stood up for and fought tooth and nail for Black women. I have put a lot of Black women on and used my platform to uplift Black women, as well as let it be known that I am not a female, but I am a Black trans woman. So I'm addressing this as such. Let me put an @ on it. At jesshilarious official, I have never disrespected you nor came at you publicly when you said sideways bleep I didn't like. I inboxed you. Your mouth don't put no fear in my heart, because you not the only bee that can put a reed on the floor. So if it's up, then it's up. But as a grown individual, I don't want to go that route, because that's not going to solve nothing. But we can. I'm all day with it. Now, I posted what I said because of what came out of your own experiences. Every time trans women and real women unite on some good bleep, you nor the blogs ever posting or talking about it. The moment one individual offends you, y'all automatically group us all in the mix. I clearly know that only females have periods and uteruses and have never stood on the side of the majority. But what you're not going to do is make it seem like you're going to press down on me and call me phony." Well, listen, after reading both of their comments, clearly, they both have made their points. Some good points that I agree with. And what I found interesting was the fact that T.S. Madison, in response to what Jess Hilarious did in her stories, was that she, in her response, said that she knows that only, and she put in all caps, females have periods and uteruses. And it's funny because some people who were tweeting, they were saying that not only women have periods. So I don't know. It's confusing as all get out for me, because to me, when T.S. Madison said females, so is it the thing that, and you guys can let me know in the comment section, because I really don't know. Is it, okay, trans women, men who were born or assigned male at birth? I don't know, because this is all like a lot of confusion. They're never called females, but those who were born a girl at birth, they are females, but trans women would never be considered females. So are you saying they're still considered males? I don't know. I'm really just trying to figure that out, because it really doesn't make sense to me. And what I will say is this. I don't know anything about Jess Hilarious besides a few clips of things that I hear here and there. I've never followed her. I don't know much about her. I really don't, because I don't follow a lot of social media, people on social media that are famous or celebrities or viral or whatever. But to me, because there were some lengthy conversations that I listened to, and I'll put a couple of them in the description box. One was on the Plain as Jane's YouTube channel. Another was Make It Make Sense. They had some panel discussions on this. And to me, just based on the comments that I was hearing, the majority, and just based on a lot of things that have been happening in the nation, and that's broadcast on media outlets, is a lot of women, natural, biological, assigned female at birth, however you want to put it, but females, a lot of females are tired, and they feel that they don't really have any allies in men or even in these trans women, because a lot of women's rights are being taken away. And it's across the board, so many things. You've got the right to terminate a pregnancy, that's struck down in the Supreme Court, and a lot of states are coming down with rulings on that. So a lot of females just feel trapped because they don't feel that there are any men that are standing up for them in the majority. And it's like their bodies, they feel like they're being controlled for their for the men's own personal agendas. That's how a lot of women feel. Because if you go to the point where you're going to say, well, yeah, even if she was 10 years old, she should carry that baby to term. It doesn't matter if she was assaulted and wound up getting pregnant by the assaulter. We don't care. It makes a lot of females feel that men really don't care about them. When you've got laws being struck down in some states like Florida, where alimony is being taken down the way it used to be, where a lot of women, they were cheated on by their spouses and they were done dirty by their spouses, and they feel that they have the right, because they were with their spouses for a long time, and they have the right to be taken care of if they are not getting married again. And Ron DeSantis has struck that down. And that's just a couple of examples, right? Of course, this has nothing to do with transgender women, but I'm saying transgender women at one point were men, right? Or males. So when you have transgender women that are coming out and in the comment section, I'm not even so much talking about T.S. Madison, because to be honest with you, the response that T.S. Madison gave to me was not really all that bad. I'm just being honest. I didn't really see a whole lot of anything that T.S. Madison said in her response to Jess Hilarious was bad. But there are a lot of transgender women who were in these comment sections and posting tweets and on other people's content that they were sharing and talking about the topic, that were, making comments like, that would be seen as men attacking women more so than women attacking women. Not saying that either is okay, but it ultimately, I feel, makes some natural born, biological, cisgender women feel that they don't have any allies and that they are in a space all of their own. Because I rarely hear about transgender men, females that want to change from female to male. Like, for example, Chaz Bono, who used to be Chastity Bono, who is Cher and Sonny's born a daughter, but now a man. I don't ever hear him out here talking about, things that are affecting him with males. He's just living his life. And yeah, I get it. He's not the typical person that he was born to celebrity. So I get it. It may be different for him, but you rarely hear about transgender men that are out here going after natural born men. And you rarely hear about a transgender man wanting to go into the NFL or to get on the NBA or whatever. But you see more so of the transgender women that want to play in female sports, when we know, you can say what you want to say, but the truth is the truth. They can change the external, and yes, they can take hormones to help with the hormones. But ultimately, the inner parts, the cells that you were born with, that's what they are. So they can't change the size of the feet, the size of the hands, the height. They can shave down the Adam's apple, but ultimately, males, for the most part, are stronger than women. So when you have a transgender woman going into female sports, then it makes those who are naturally born as females feel like they have an unfair advantage. And you can't get upset with the women for feeling that way, because you've seen it happen where they wind up taking over their category for whatever sport that they have, been allowed to get into. But you don't really hear about transgender men going into male sports. You know what I mean? So I just feel that a lot of women, Jess Hilarious, the response, it may not have been received well because of how she said things, but did she lie? Did anything that she say come across as a lie? It may have been the tone that some people may have taken offense to, but the person that she responded to, who said that womanhood doesn't belong to biological women, that's that person's opinion. That's that person's opinion. But that person said that natural born women don't own periods. But then T.S. Madison said, I clearly know that females are the only ones that can have periods. So it becomes some confusion there. And then it also just becomes like, is this, can I see this transgender woman as a man who is attacking a woman? Or am I supposed to see this as a woman who's attacking another woman? But if transgender women have allies, it's almost like the allies more so are actually natural born women. But when you do things like this, you offend the group that, for the most part, is the ones that are more so respecting you or trying to help protect you or trying to support you. I'm not saying every woman does that, but you actually see that more with women doing it than you will with straight men. You may see gay men doing that, but you're not really going to see straight men doing that. And we know that most, not all, but most transgender women, they want to be with a straight man. They don't want to be with a gay man because they don't see themselves as gay, because they actually see themselves as a woman. So they want to be with a straight man. And a lot of straight men, like 100% straight, not the ones like, what's his name? The one that used to be on New York Undercover, Malik Yoba. Not like him, the ones that say, they're trans attracted and they like them having something at the top and then something down in the middle. I mean, there are some people that are like that, but most straight men, they don't want that. But most trans women, they want a straight man. So it's just a lot. Look, I'm not saying it's my life, because it isn't. But what I wanted to say is that it can come across in a number of ways where it looks like the trans women may be getting into the fights or windmilling against those that actually are the ones that are their main supporters or their main allies at some point in time. You would hear the terms like, oh, that's my good Judy and blah, 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 blah. But you don't really hear a lot of that about straight men being their allies or being their supporters. So it's almost like they're cutting off their nose to spite their face in a way when they do things like this. But that person that made that post that Jess Hilarious responded to, it is one person. So maybe if Jess Hilarious had just responded to that one person and said it in a different way, this wouldn't even be a topic of discussion right now. But sometimes when you come out in this way, it just offends a whole lot of people, and then they want to get you cut off and canceled and all this other stuff because you said things that hurt their feelings. But again, because they are a protected group and a protected class, a lot of females don't feel that way anymore. They don't really ever feel like they've been protected in a lot of ways. And so many rights have been stomped on and taken away. Even in the year that we are in right now, in 2023, they feel like a lot of rights have been stomped on and kicked and taken away and all these other things. And now to have trans women say that, no, you have to be called cisgender women. You can't be called natural or biological. They take offense to it. But yet, if a woman, natural born woman, says, I don't want to be called cisgendered or I don't want to be called fish, then you get upset with them and say, well, that's the way it is. That's what we say. So again, it makes a lot of women feel like we just have to accept what you say we have to accept. But if we say things that are offensive to you, then you want to get us canceled. They just don't feel protected anymore. And I feel that it's very dangerous for transgender women to come on the attack against women, because most women, they're not coming out attacking. They're coming out trying to cover and protect themselves and feeling unprotected and also feeling attacked by not just transgender women, but also by men overall. So, and it is true. It took I don't care what they change and all this other stuff about, they don't want women to be called mothers. They want them to be called a birthing person, because now a transgender man can give birth because they were born a woman and they don't want to be called mother. Well, why can't that person just say, I don't want to be called mother? Why does every woman have to be called a birthing person? So again, it makes a lot of women feel attacked, because they feel like, why does what I am used to and what I've known all my life to be have to change for the sake of a minority? Because let's just be honest, women are a minority and transgender women are a much smaller minority. So that, again, makes a lot of natural born biological women feel attacked when they want them to call their vagina a bonus hole. It's like you're, again, diminishing what a woman is, because that's what we've always known it to be. Because what you have, I guess, wouldn't be called a vagina. I don't know. I'm asking. I don't really know what is the purpose of they want it to be called a bonus hole. They don't want breastfeeding to be called breastfeeding or breastfed anymore. They want it to be called chest feeding or chest fed, because you have transgendered men who were once women at one point and they had their breasts cut off. They had what they call top surgery. But now that they have been able to give birth, if that's something that they chose to do or did it by accident, got pregnant, and if they are going to feed, they're going to feed from their chest and not feed from their breast, then a lot of women feel like, well, why do all of us have to call it chest feeding? Why don't you just call it what it is for you? So again, a lot of women feel like when it comes to the minority of the transgender women, for them to come along and change a lot of the norms for the sake of what makes them feel comfortable and for the sake of what makes them feel like they are actually all in this gender, we have to change the names of things, because if we call it what we call it, it doesn't make you feel included. It's not fair for them either, So again, it goes deep. I don't want to make this too long because I already feel uncomfortable talking about it overall. But I really just wanted to talk about the story and just share my thoughts on what I feel like a lot of women feel is the fact that they feel attacked and they feel like they don't really have allies in a lot of men. And now a lot of the women who were friends or are friends with people who are in the gay and lesbian community don't really understand the trans situation. And now they're feeling attacked by trans women, or feel like trans women are in competition with them. But then they may turn around and say that women are in competition with trans women because more men prefer trans women. Now, I get it. There are some women out here that do the drag makeup and they're doing this plastic surgery to look extremely fake, because there are a lot of trans women, and not even just trans women, but there are some gay men that have had who, do drag, because I've seen it, who've had the silicone put in the butts and, and legs and enemy, and shoot, some of them look more feminine than some females. It absolutely is true, but it doesn't make them more women than those who were born a woman. And that's just that. So yeah, Jess Hilarious, she could take offense to it too, because they were coming at her looks to say that she looks like a trans woman, or looks more masculine. That's the thing that a lot of people get, because even people used to speculate whether Wendy Williams was really a woman. And again, the attacks on women, they are absolutely astronomical. But I feel that Jess Hilarious, her response to that person, yeah, she may have responded to the whole community. There were a number of things that she said that were true. It is true. It takes a woman to give birth to bring a trans woman to even be on this earth, on this planet. So it's just kind of like, well, why can't you respect what actually delivered you onto this planet to give you the experience to even become a trans woman? It took a woman to give birth for you to be here. And I don't care what type of things that they try to come up with to switch not just the narrative, but to switch the normality of what we know to be, which is a female carrying a baby, getting pregnant, carrying a baby, and delivering a child. It takes a woman to do that. It does. So you like what you like, you don't like what you don't like. I'm not here to debate all of that stuff. It just goes deep. But yeah, I just feel that some women, a lot of women, based on the comments that I've been hearing and seeing, a lot of women just don't feel like they are protected at all. So you can let me know your thoughts respectfully in the comment section below. Thank you so much for being here, for liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I just wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.